Welcome, everyone. This is your friend, the DN What If, here with another exciting fanfiction. Today, we're diving into the story of What If Deku Had Multiple Quirks? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fanfiction content just like this. Now, let's get started with the fanfic. One for All, a quirk made to pass down power from successor to successor. It has accumulated power and quirks from 8 people over the years, and now rests in the 9th, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, who was born quirkless, is a student at the prestigious UA school, where those who aspire to become pro-heroes go. His classmates have come to believe that his quirk was a strength-enhancing ability. However, within One for All are the quirks of previous users, which had merged with it and were also passed down. And today, one such quirk would rear its head. In the middle of class. Quirk, Lycanthrope, a transformation-type quirk that allows the user to become a werewolf. Stay away from silver and full moons. Everything in class had stopped in an instant as everyone stared at Izuku. The boy was so engrossed with his schoolwork that he had not noticed that a pair of wolf ears had sprouted on top of his head or the glossy tail that popped out the seat of his pants, though the others had noticed instantly. Ida was the first to question him. "Excuse me, Midoriya? Is something wrong? Have you noticed something out of the ordinary? Something out of? Well, I did think that I noticed something different between Kamui and MT Lady during their latest appearance. They seem to be a bit closer dash. Not that. I mean dash. Would you please put your hands on top of your head, Midoriya?" Tokoyami interrupted. Confused, Izuku did as he was asked. Alright, but I don't see why." He trailed off as he felt something under his hands twitch. Waff. Toru handed a hand mirror to Ida. "Here, it might be easier to show him." "Wait, why does an invisible person have a mirror?" Izuku looked into the mirror that Ida pointed at him. "Huh. What? Why do I have ears on top of my head? How did it take you this long to notice?" A new sensation on a body part he never had before snapped Izuku's attention behind him, where Ochako was feeling his new tail. "Oh wow, it's so fluffy. I got a tail too?" "Oh man, Midoriya turned into a furry. Hey, scoot over. I want to pet his tail too." "Huh. Wait, sit down all of you. We need to figure out what is going here." "Adada." Everyone looked toward Izuku as he looked about to sneeze. "Yo, are you allergic to yourself now? That's gotta SCK. Asivo." After he sneezed, Izuku noticed everyone staring at him now for an entirely new reason. "And Midoriya? Does this still count as furry?" Confused, he looked down to see what was wrong. His body was now that of a large werewolf stuffed into a school uniform. He was covered in dark fur, though he still had a mop of messy green hair. He also rivaled Mezu in size, now. "Yep. Someone go find the teacher." "Halt. What's that, boy? Tiny Timmy is stuck down the well?" "Kaminari." "Izuku, hold still, I need to pet you now." "Yep." "Uraraka? Wait, Yaoyorozu. I can't help it, he looks so fluffy." "Catch him, he's going full cowl to escape." "Halt." Aizawa stood in the doorway to the classroom watching the events happening inside before turning around and leaving. One for All, a quirk made to pass down power from successor to successor. It has accumulated power and quirks from 8 people over the years, and now rests in the 9th, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, who was born quirkless, is a student at the prestigious UA school, where those who aspire to become pro-heroes go. His classmates have come to believe that his quirk was a strength-enhancing ability. However, within One for All are the quirks of previous users, which had merged with it and were also passed down. And today, one such quirk would rear its head. Again! Quirk, X-ray specs, Lord Zet the Drunk, allows the user to see through non-organic material, such as wall or clothes. Cannot see through certain materials such as lead. Look with caution. Ida Tenya stood by the school's gate holding yesterday's class notes, looking for a student who was sick the day before. As class representative, it was up to him to help that student so that they wouldn't fall behind in class. It didn't take long before he saw the student in question. "Ah, Midoriya. There you are. I'm sorry to hear that you weren't able to make it to school yesterday. I have gathered the notes for the classes you missed so that you won't fall behind. Oh wow. Thanks Ida ahhhhh. Wa Midoriya, what's wrong? Izuku had just been standing a couple of meters away, talking to him normally before screaming and covering his eyes. I'm sorry I didn't see anything Ida, I need to go. He then ran inside while still covering his eyes, the sounds of him bumping into people and screaming still heard throughout the school. Sorry. Excuse me. I didn't mean to see that. Naked. Ida stood at the gate confused, ignorant of the bell ringing. And naked. Izuku soon found himself seated at his desk, his vision having returned to normal. Ida, Kirishima and Tsuyu were asking about what had happened. So let me get this straight. You're standing there talking to the class rep when out of nowhere you suddenly start seeing him naked. Gotta say dude, that has to SCK. I feel like I can't get married anymore. Forgive me Midoriya. I have ruined your innocence. Not now. Did you see anything else besides naked people? I noticed that I could see through the walls, though I was more worried by the people. Sounds like that one hero from 10 years ago. You know, the one that was accused of peeping. I didn't mean to. We're not saying that, Izuku. But you'll need to find some way to keep this under control. Yeah. I'm surprised though. How did you get another quirk? Are you like Todoroki, born with multiple ones? No, that's not it. Hi, Deku. Ochako suddenly popped up behind Izuku, having wanted to surprise him. Uraraka Again. Deku. Imsaza Uraraka mientosi forgive him. The poor boy then tried to get away, but ended up tripping over several people and desks before making it to the door, which then opened. Hey guys. What's with the screaming? Hagakura. So that's what you look like. Meanwhile, Mineta was jealous of Izuku for many years after. Quirk, Gale Force, Rickion Invictus and Dark Knight Zero allows the user to blow powerful gusts of wind from the mouth or nose. Overusing causes respiratory problems. Users have been known to be subject to spontaneous flight. Be careful when you sneeze. Izuku laid his head down on his desk, wishing that he could just sink into the floor. What had happened that morning on the way to UA was stuck in his head. He almost missed Yaoyorozu and Jiraiya walk in, deep in a discussion. And did you hear about what had happened this morning? About that pervert blowing those girls' uniforms off their bodies. I can't believe that someone would do that. If I find that creep, I'll give him a piece of my mind. But everyone in the class turned toward Izuku, who had just slammed his head further into his desk in shame. A miserable, I didn't mean to be a pervert, drifted from him. Wait, you did that? Immediately all the girls surrounded the boy to scold him. None of them noticed Mineta and Kaminari huddled together. Izuku, how could you do something like that? I can't believe that you would do such a despicable act. I'm really sorry. A dog ran in front of me and I ended up sneezing. I didn't mean to blow their clothes off. I tried to apologize to them but they were. Alright, calm down. Yaoyorozu sighed as she put a hand to her face. I suppose that you aren't really the kind of person to do something like this, so we might be able to help you apologize to those girls. But you'll need to keep this from happening again. Deal. Thank you so much for understanding. Kirishima interrupted them from his seat, asking, so wait, his quirk makes his sneezes strong now? That could cause a whole mess of problems, you know. He's right. What if Midoriya sneezes in class? Some poor kid might get stuck in the wall. Or naked. Ashido. Izuku sighed. Can this get any worse? Hey Midoriya. Looking down, he ended up getting a face full of black pepper courtesy of Mineta, who ran to the opposite end of the room. What the he dash? Oh crap. He's gonna blow. Quick, turn his head. Okay. Ashido grabbed Izuku's head and turned it away from the girls, and toward the boys instead. Oh shit. Luckily no one was hurt from the force of the sneeze, but unfortunately the boys ended up losing their uniforms in the gust. Everyone in the class was completely red in the face. Oh my. Damn it, Minetta. What a view. I think I just blew my brains out. Lightning Round Edition. Why me? Quirk, Flame Air. One of various fire-breathing quirks, it allows the user to expel fire heat from the mouth, nose, etc. Can be augmented by consuming spicy foods. Not intended for potty humor. Asivo. Fush. Everyone stared at Izuku's desk as the top of it burned away. The boy in question looked on in shock as he believed that he just manifested his father's quirk. I did it. The hell, you little butt munch. You almost set me on fire. But I'm sorry, Kaken, I didn't mean to do that. I don't care. Meanwhile, several students began crowding around Todoriki. Hey, Todoriki, are you and Midoriya related or something? How on earth did you ever come up with that assumption? Well, you have fire and now he has fire, so dash. I assure you that we are not related in any way, shape, or form. Two unrelated people can have similar quirks, after all. Zero noticed another student inch closer to the burning desk. Hey, Denki, the hell are you doing? Roasting marshmallows. Want one? No marshmallows in class. Quirk, offspring. I forgot who suggested minions as a quirk, but that and Tiny Deku became this. An unusual quirk, it allows the user to create miniature copies of themselves. Possibly an offshoot of clone. Tiny Dekus. Ochako was rather excited, holding a 5-inch copy of Izuku in her hands. Throughout the classroom, several dozen copies were trying to help out various students while they began gushing over the chibis. All the little copies wisely stayed away from Bakugu. Hi, Uraraka. Oh my god, he's so cute, can I keep him? Sure, Uraraka. Midoriya, are you sure you're okay? J, just fine. I can ignore the pain in my stomach. URG. It's not so bad. Oh god, I lied. And then 3 new Dekus began to help out Tsuyu. Someone please help me get to the nurse's office. Quirk. Cat form. The cat version of frog form. Claws and all. Oh my god, these ears are so soft. Tsuyu, come over here and feel them. Okay. W8. Uraraka is to, please don't my, oh man that feels good. Uraraka, Azui, Bakugu. Please stop this at once, it is indecent. Speedy. Can't you see that we're enjoying ourselves? That's because you're hogging the tail. The classroom door opened and Kaminari walked in carrying a bag. What the hell did I just walk in on? Hey, Denki. What's in the bag? Cucumbers. That one Kappa kid from General Ed is passing them out. Want one? Ewa. Great. Now we'll have to explain why Midoriya's stuck on the ceiling. Sorry about that. Kaken, let go of my tail. Quirk, animal lover, Lord Zet the drunk. Lets the user gain a deeper understanding with animals. Aizawa watched the figures standing in the doorway. They were covered in critters and birds of all sorts. Midoriya, no animals in class. Take them outside. Leave the cat, though. Got it? And if any of them poop on the floor, you're cleaning it up. Understood, sensei. And with that, the bundle of animals began to trek through the halls. Hey wait, Azui, Tokoyami, where are you guys going? Quirk, Titan. A weaker version of giantification. Not to be used indoors. Class 1A stared out the classroom windows, where they could see Izuku's head peeking in. This is size discrimination. Come on guys. Well, guess you aren't the tallest kid in the class anymore, Shuji. Quirk, doppelganger. Allows the user to transform into an identical copy of someone. Extended use may result in mistaken identity. Uraraka looked at Uraraka as she stared back at herself. The other students were trying to process the fact that Izuku just transformed into an exact twin of the bubbly girl. Is that really how my hair looks like? That's your takeaway from this? Well, I think that it looks good on us. Really? Thanks. Hey, wanna go to the mall later and see if we can find some cute clothes? That sounds like fun. Hey Ida, wanna join us? Dude, I can't tell either of them apart now. If they get together, would it be self-cessed? Minetta. Quirk. Regan. allows the user's body to instantly heal minor wounds. Not to be confused with super regeneration. Midoriya, who is this? Ida and Uraraka stared hard at the girl who was accompanying Izuku. She seemed to be from another school, and the slightly unhinged look in her eyes made them nervous. Hi. I'm Himiko Toga, Aiza's new girlfriend. Girlfriend? I mean, it's hard to find a guy who won't completely bleed out, you know? That's why Aiza here is perfect boyfriend material. I can keep cutting him up and he's still okay. It helps that he's just so mo. Help me. Don't worry, Deku will dash. I'll share him. Uraraka. Quirk, gel body. A mutation quirk that leaves the user's body soft and malleable. Blunt force won't work on this softie, but hot and cold can have adverse effects on it. Comes in 4 colors. Great for hugging. Oh my god, you're so soft and squishy. All of a sudden Izuku had turned a soft green, and further investigation found that he was, as Uraraka had said, soft and squishy. Uraraka, please let me go. This is embarrassing. No way. You're much more easier to hug like this. Hee hee. Mina was pretty happy with this turn of events. Now I'm not the only one with odd skin. And green really suits him pretty well. Though, did his quirk take a backwards turn? Instead of being super strong, he's super soft now. Like one of those monsters from DQ, you know? Yeah, that's a good point. Can he even pull of super punches now? Huh. Izuku had heard Jairu and Kaminari's conversation, and had started thinking the same thing. Can I still use one for all like this? After prying Uraraka off, he went to the window and opened it. Channeling Ofa into his arm, he let loose. A Rhode Island smash. Did you just make that up? A wave of pure force flew over Yue's barrier, taking a tree along for the ride, signaling that one for all was still usable. Izuku looked at his arm, and though it was tingling a lot, it wasn't broken. Alright, now I don't have to worry about breaking my limbs anymore. Well, that makes sense. You can't break a bone if it's not there. Yeah. Mina snuck up to him and grabbed an arm. See? Watch this. And she began to wiggle his arm up and down, making little waves travel down the limb. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Itchy. Stop that. Oh, let me try. And then Uraraka joined in. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Stop it please. Hey look. He's all red now. Let me go. Quirk, Rocket Man. Transforms the user's legs into rockets, allowing them to fly like rocket. Will not work if overheated. Poor handling and acceleration, but excellent turning and top speed. Are you sure this is a good idea? Well, if we do this inside again, you'll just end up stuck in the ceiling once more. Yeah, you're right. Okay, just give me some space. Class 1A had gone outside to see Izuku blast off again. 10 minutes prior they had to dig him out of the ceiling when he launched himself into it. Katsuki had taken several photos on his phone of the rescue attempts. Okay. Test number 1. Wow, my legs feel heavy. Izuku uncovered his legs, revealing a pair of rockets growing out of each leg. How do I reach? A sudden burst of power had launched Izuku into the air, high above the school. Everyone had to lean back to keep him in their sights. That I'm a fucking rocket ship. Jairu. The body secretes a glue-like substance that sticks to near anything. Trees, rocks, walls, people. Please exercise caution with this quirk. What the F am I seeing here? Katsuki had passed through the school gate and immediately regretted it. In front of him was Deku, who seemed to be stuck to the ground flat on his face, and that gravity girl, who seemed to have her hands stuck to his sides. There's a story here, and I'm not sure if I want to know. Kaken, you have to help us. I tripped and got stuck to the ground, and then Uraraka tried to use her quirk to help me get off, but then she got stuck too. I've been sitting here tickling his sides for 10 minutes. Please help us, Kaken. My sides can't take it anymore. He was silent for a minute before resuming his trek to the door. Sorry, stranger. I'm afraid you have the wrong person. Kaken, you a-hole. Wow, that must have been the first time he ever swore. Welp, Guess I'll just keep tickling you until a teacher finds us. Nu ha 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 Uraraka stop. Quirks. Hot leg. Why is everyone staring at me like that? The second Izuku had entered the classroom, everyone began to stare at him. Then it got weird when they started blushing and sweating. Guys, this is starting to get creepy. Legs so hot you can fry an egg. Quirk, heart swap. A quirk that can switch people's hearts, personality. Not to be used excessively or the effects become permanent. Not intended for sheets and giggles. Yo Deku, there you are. Wanna go get some lunch later? The class was extremely weirded out. After Izuku had touched Katsuki, the explosive boy began to behave like he had been a very close friend for years. What? Do I have something on my face? Everyone then turned their gazes to Uraraka. What the hell are all you fuckmunchers looking at? Midoriya, change them back. Change them back now. Quirk, extreme diet, Rikion Invictus. The user is capable of safely consuming matter and objects and making it a part of their body, or may eject it out of it later. Crunch ouch. Izuku winced as he inspected his thumb, having just bit it. Which was odd, since he was just chewing his pencil's eraser seconds age. That's weird. Where'd my pencil go? It was just in my hand. While he began searching for his missing pencil, everyone was busy staring at him. Darn it, it's not down here. Hey Mineta, have you seen where my pencil went? You, kind of ate it. Huh? Yeah, you just ate it. Like a stick of Pocky. Huh. Oh crap. Quick, someone give him the Heimlich maneuver. That only works if he's choking, doesn't it? That was my only pencil. Priorities, Deku. Dude, look at your finger. Huh. Izuku looked as instructed and instead of a finger digit, a pencil tip peeked back at him. Giving it a wiggle revealed that it was indeed real. I should be more worried by this, but I'm more interested in what this can do. The class stared as they watched Izuku begin to consume various small objects including several pencils, pens, rulers, a pair of gloves and his phone, which he was checking out in his hand at the moment. Oh hey, there's a rumor that Kamui and Imbilady are going out. Kaminari raised his hand saying, okay, I'm not the only one grossed out by this, am I? Several others agreed. Quirk, steel bod. The user's body becomes hard as steel, making it an impressive defense and... Kirishima, I am so sorry about this. Not another copy and paste. Quirk, miniaturize. Lets the user shrink themselves or whatever they touch with all 5 fingers on one hand. Objects and people shrunk revert back after a time proportional to the size they are shrunk to. Limit of 5 inches. Deku, you are dead. Do you hear me? Dead. Oh man, Kaken, I'm so sorry. He actually looks cute. Shut up. Palming his face, Izuku sighed. Man, how the heck am I supposed to fix this? I mean, Uraraka? Why are you so big? Tiny Deku. Tiny D. Run, Midoriya. If she catches you, she'll never let go. Get over here, Decay. I'm gonna wring your scrawny little neck. Why me? Guess what time it is? Break time? Quirkfoof. The user surrounds themselves with a mass of extremely poofy hair fur. This mass greatly reduces the impact of any incoming attack, making it as formidable a defense as hardening. Regular haircuts are required. The class watched as a big ball of messy green hair walked through the door. The only thing they could see coming out of it was a red pair of big doofy shoes. The green hair ball made its way to Midoriya's seat, where it tried to sit. Mineta looked at the hair that spilled out onto his desk. So, new haircut. I heard that one from 56 different people on the way to school. Can you even see anything through all that? Not really, and I think I accidentally ran over someone. At that, Uraraka popped out of the hairball. But it's really fun in here, so I don't mind. That's where you were? Hey, that looks like fun. Let me in. What dash? And then Mina dived into the hair. Wow, there's a lot of room in here. I know, right? Oh, hi there, Izuku. Did you know you're all red again? Get out of my hair. Quirk. The user's body can become a fluid mass of slime which comes in blue, red, or ochre varieties. While in a semi-solid state, The user's body is near impervious to blunt force and slashing. Emotional state of mind can affect current stability. Please use for intended uses. What was strange was not that Izuku had just asked, stammered out in a flustered mess, Uraraka out on a date. It was not that it was in front of the whole class. It was not even when she kissed him on the cheek. It was when the poor boy literally melted. Everyone stared as the blushing ball of freckled slime wiggled in place, before it seemed to realize what had happened. They all were then treated to a show of Mito slime, panicking and zooming around the classroom, unable to say, scream, anything. You know, this is kinda cute. Really? Quirk. Telepathy. The user can project their thought into other people's minds, and can read their minds in return. A dangerous quirk in the hands of a gossip queen. Oh dear, I really need to scratch my bottom but I can't or everyone will see it. Izuku had to stifle a startled gasp as he suddenly heard that. He looked around to see who had said that but no one looked like they had spoken. Midoriya turned back around. Ah, sorry sensei. Believing that he had imagined that, he turned to face forward again. Wow, sensei has a cute butt. Fresh. Midoriya, get back up. After lunch, Izuku watched as the last few students walked into class. Oh wow. Azui looks pretty cute with that clip in her hair. When everyone suddenly turned toward him, he realized that they all must have somehow heard that. Thanks, and call me Tsuyu. You look pretty good as well. Thank you. Hey Midoriya, what are you? Why, don't jump out the window. Midoriya, no escaping through the window. Quirk, elastic body. Allows the user to stretch and shape their body with ease. Overuse may result in dry skin everywhere. Kirishima and Ashido looked at the mess that they had made. Mina, still holding onto one arm, followed it back to where Izuku's body was suspended from the ceiling. Each other limb was now extended and wrapped around nearly every nook and cranny of the lunchroom they could find, basically turning the poor boy into a human spider web. Do you think that maybe we got carried away? Yes, you did. Quirk, Detachable. This quirk allows the user to pop off different parts of their body. They can control these separate parts, with the head as the core, within a certain limit. Outside of their reach, the parts will begin to act on their own. Watch for wandering hands. Jairu opened the door, answering a strange knocking. She peered out into the hall, but couldn't see anything. Down here. Looking down, she saw a head looking back up to her. Izuku's head. I don't suppose you've seen my body around here, have you? No, don't faint. I still need help finding my body. Thanks again for helping me, Deku's body. The flustered headless body gave Uraraka a thumbs up for a reply. She had to admit that finding her friend's body panicking in the hallway was certainly a shock, but after it helped her put away groceries, she promised to help it find its head. That it still got embarrassed was pretty funny as well. Why am I blushing? Quirk, fly wings. The use has fly wings on their back. They buzz loudly and are very bad at control. May develop twitchiness. Izuku noticed her staring at him. Azui, why are you looking at me like that? No reason. And call me Tsuyu. Tsuyu, you're drooling. Quirk, chick magnet. This quirk causes chicks to flock to you at all times. And I'm gonna call this one Buddy, and this one Andy, and this one Deku Jr. It even has your hair. That's nice, Uraraka. Izuku plunked his head onto the one spot on his desk that wasn't covered in baby chickens. Hell, it was hard to find any spot free of chicks considering they were covering nearly every square inch of the classroom. They even buried poor Mineta. Or were just stuck to him, considering the boy's quirk. Deku, I swear if one of these things sheets in my hair were having grilled chicken nuggets for lunch. But Kogu, you can't do that. That's called animal abuse. That's called the circle of life. Quirk, robot body. The user body becomes a machine, able to transform and do what a machine can do. Izuku watched as his hand opened up in segments, as each panel of his limb moved and revealed intricate machinery inside. It didn't hurt and he still looked the same, but it was still pretty weird to see. Whoa! Turning around, he saw Mei looking at his hand with a manic gleam in her eyes. Hey Midoriya, can I take a look at your hand real quick? And your arm? Body? Where were you going? Has anyone seen Deku? He didn't come back from lunch. Quirk, Rocket Punch. The user can launch their fists like a missile, plowing through a concrete wall with ease. Ida found Izuku crawling under the desks, as though he was looking for something. Midoriya, what are you doing down there? I can't find my hand. He waved a handless arm up in the air for emphasis. I sneezed and then it flew off, and now I can't find it. How do you lose a hand? Kirishima blinked as Bakugo suddenly took a fist to the face, though he did manage to remain standing. You got a little something on your face there. Someone's going to blow up. Violently, slowly, and painfully. Now what are you doing? Hiding. Quirk, Hot Wheels. The user can transform their feet into wheels, allowing them to move at greater speeds. Excellent for tricks. Tokoyami opened his room's door and entered the hallway, just in time to catch the sight of Midoriya spinning around on wheels. Wheels that had replaced his feet. Someone stop me, I want to get off the ride. Hang on. Using Dark Shadow, he was able to stop the poor boy and stand him still. There you go. Are you all right, Midoriya? Thanks, Tokoyami. I was starting to get dizzy from that. Looking down at Midoriya's new feet, the bird-headed student asked, another quirk? Yeah. And I can't shut this one down either. Maybe I should get some training wheels. He just noticed that he was moving backwards. By that time he had reached the stairs. Hold on dash. Thump 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 thump. Running to the stairs, Tokoyami called down, Midoriya, are you okay? Yeah. Gel body activated, so I'm alright. But now Ishido's hugging me. Quirk, Wall, Cherry Blossom 50. The user can create invisible rectangular walls to act as barriers, steps, or even extra shelves if you run out of space. Useful for carnivals, making invisible mazes. Let me out please? I promise to be good. You literally fell from the ceiling shouting, I want your blood. Todoriki and Yaoyorozu watched as Izuku and a strange girl in a different school's uniform and yellowish sweater were arguing. Said girl was currently locked in a small, floating invisible box made by Izuku. Please. Ugh. We better help him. Midoriya's the kind of person to fall for puppy eyes, even if it's from a Yandere. Quirk, Release, Evanescence. Negates and deactivates a person's quirk with a touch. Physical contact is required, and lasts for 5 minutes. Deku, you little sheet. You better explain to why my quirk isn't working. I don't know. Honest. I'm more interested in how he managed to touch most of us just by tripping. Izuku, the very second he stepped into the dorm's lounge, had managed to trip and stumble through and managed to touch everyone in it. And because of his new quirk, he had rendered then quirkless. My tongue is short now. My dispensers ain't working either. I'm still pink. That's not your quirk though. Izuku was slowly backing up, hoping to reach the door to escape. Kaken, please be reasonable. I'm sure this will wear off quickly. I'm going to punch you now. Bye. But before he could reach the door, it opened to reveal Hagakure. Hey guys. What's going Midoriya? Why are you touching me? But he wasn't paying attention as he and the others went quiet, everyone blushing up a storm. So that's how she looks. Meanwhile Mineta felt that he was missing something. Quirk, Age Change, Saint Danielle. Allows the user to change the age of a person from young, no younger than 4, to old, no older than 40. Works on animals as well. Kaminari and Mineta watched on as a now 5-year-old Izuku was being hugged and doted on by the girls of the class. I don't know whether I should be jealous or sympathetic cause they aren't going to let him go for a few hours. Both. Let's be both. Quirk, Intangibility, Megalix. Allows the user to pass through solid objects. Solidifying while passing through an object is not harmful, but can lead to uncomfortableness. Ida, Todoriki and Mineta stared at Izuku, who was stuck in the second-story floor up to his waist. His arms were stuck as well. How did you even manage this? I don't know. I just walked out of my room and panicked when this happened. So how are we gonna get him out? It's not like we can just break through the floor. Well, what if we dash? Guys, someone just took off my shoes. All three boys looked down at him as they processed what he said. But who's downstairs right now? Ashido and Uraraka. They just took my socks. Guys, save me. Ida rushed down the stairs in order to stop the girls, leaving Todoriki and Mineta alone with Izuku. What are we supposed to do? Ha ha ha, they're tickling my feet. Guess Ida wasn't able to stop them in time. Ha ha, someone just pinched my butt. Lucky. Quirk, genderbender, so FENG many people. Allows the user to change their own gender or that of whoever they are touching. Not meant to be used while drunk. Izuku sniffled as he plunked his head onto his desk. I don't feel good. Shiro looked over to him in a bit of concern. If you aren't feeling that well, maybe you should head home. I'm sure Aizawa will understand. Lifting his head, Izuku agreed. Yeah, maybe I shall act Chu. She took a moment to rub her nose before continuing. Yup, definitely need to go. I guess I'll see you guys later. No one replied as they were all surprised to see Izuku suddenly change into a girl, skirt and all. They remained silent as she made her way out of the room, sneezing several times and switching between genders as he went. You don't think that's contagious, do you? Ouch. What was that for? Quirk, cash cow, Saint Danielle. Allows the user to expel both paper money and coins from their body. But using this quirk is morally wrong and is very dangerous to the economy. Dude, this is enough money to purchase that new console that came out. But if you use that money, then it could disrupt the economy and lead to an unbalance to dash. Hey Midoriya, you okay? Do I look okay Gwerp? Quirk, psychic, Moon Knight. The user has access to some upper-tier telekinesis, able to move objects up to several tons with their minds. Requires extreme focus the heavier the object is. Deku, you better get me down from here. I will if you stop promising to end me. Tsuyu watched as Izuku kept Bakugo up on the classroom ceiling. You know, I bet you would be able to pull of a good man's eye act. With this. You really think so? Heya. Izuku spent the remainder of the day escaping from a limping Bakugo. Quirk, charm, Saint Danielle. Causes members of the opposite SEC to fall over you. Not ideal for harems. Izuku ran through the halls of the school, trying to get away from various girls who were now after him. Why is this happening? He felt a JRK as he was suddenly pulled up to the ceiling by a tongue, where a blushing Tsuyu was sticking to. Hello, Izuku. Karo. How's it hanging? Pretty good. Well, that's nice. The two of them looked over to where Ochako was floating next to them. She took hold of Izuku before slinging him over her shoulder and bringing her fingertips together. All with a pleasant smile on her face. Release. Tsuyu watched them float down from her perch. Well played, Karo. Ochako took the chance and ran with Izuku toward a random room, before the boy was plucked off of her shoulder by a passing Itsuka. Mine. Hey. Help me. Meanwhile in Class 1A, Shiro had to tape down Mineta to keep the little bugger from trying to kill Izuku. Quirk, fusion a guest. Allows the user to temporarily fuse with another person into a single person, combining their power. Subject to various combine jokes and memes. Everyone kept their distance from what was once Izuku and Ochako. The new person in their place looked around in confusion. Midoriya? Uraraka? Yes. Holy shit, that's creepy. The person seemed to be a short girl with bushy brown hair. They had Ochako's eyes and finger pads with Izuku's freckles and nose. The class had to admit they did look kinda cute. Well, now we know what their kid would look like. One for all, a quirk made to pass down power from successor to successor. It has accumulated power and quirks from 8 people over the years, and now rests in the 9th, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, who was born quirkless, is a student at the prestigious UA school, where those who aspire to become pro-heroes go. His classmates have come to believe that his quirk was a strength-enhancing ability. However, within One for All are the quirks of previous users, which had merged with it and were also passed down. One such quirk had appeared within the boy alongside one for all's power. Quirk, Death Clock, Rickion Invictus. The user is able to see how much time is left in a person's life, seen as numbers representing days. These numbers can change nearly on a whim, lowering or rising based on different circumstances. This quirk is always active. 7,210. That was the number that was floating above his mother's head. He didn't know what it was or what it meant, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything but hanging in the air. Izuku. Huh. Why are you looking above my head? Is there something up there? No, it was just a fly. Haha. Smooth. Hey Deku. Ready for class? I wonder what Aizawa-sensei has planned for us today. 15,144. That was Ochako's number. Everyone that he had seen so far had a number floating above them. Everyone except him, anyway. Most ranging in the 10,000 range, the highest was Bakugu's, 23,329. He tried to figure out what they meant all day. He had thought that maybe it was a score of some kind that might explain Kaken's number. He dismissed that idea when he saw All Might, 530, since because the pro was much more experienced and older, he would have had a much higher number. A week later, he deduced what the numbers were. On the news he saw that a man had died in a traffic accident earlier that evening, a man he had seen that morning with 0 above his head. This and several other examples led him to believe that the numbers were how long people had left to live. A few quick calculations later and he deduced that they were in days. He suddenly remembered a number he had seen that day that was now really worrying. 522. If he was right, then All Might only had at most 2 years to live. He tried to talk to All Might about it, but he couldn't gather enough courage to do so. Anytime he tried to get close, his eye would end up darting to that number again. Eventually he began to ignore them, in fear of seeing one of his classmates' number drop. Once he had seen someone's number drop from 8021, all the way to 0, all because his buddy convinced him to go out with him and his friends for some bar hopping. The next morning he was on the news, dead from a severe allergic reaction. For a while he was able to keep his mind off of them. Then Ida's number dropped to 0. Izuku learned that he could save someone. After stopping Stain from killing Ida, his number rose back up, though it wasn't as high as it once was. If Ida's number could rise like that, then he could try and save All Might as well. He just needed some way to help him, like maybe some kind of treatment. He stopped that, remembering that All Might, Tashinori according to Gran Torino, saying that he had several treatments and surgeries just to survive the injuries inflicted to him. So there might not be anything to do on that front. He eventually settled on doing what he could to ease his idol's load, help make his life easier. After that, he kept an eye on as many numbers as he could, so that if he saw any that were too low then he would do what he could to help that person. And for a while, even with the worry and fear of his friends' numbers dropping, he managed. Though he never had to do anything. 0. Ida. Todoriki. Yaoyorozu. Kirishima. They and all the pro heroes who had arrived at the warehouse holding the numis were at 0. Hell, he was pretty sure that his number would have been at 0 as well considering the circumstance. All for one had taken the stage, and had taken out every hero on the scene in an instant. Even with the efforts of Best Jeanist and All Might, 0, showing up, their numbers didn't rise. The villain was able to match All Might blow for blow, and with Kaken in the way the hero couldn't go all out. There had to be something they could do. Guys, listen. 490. He felt tears in his eyes as he saw All Might Tashinori now, standing on the beach. All the fear and worry had vanished when his hero smashed AFO into the ground, but seeing him in person in mostly one piece lifted his spirits. Even the weak Texas smash to his face couldn't stop him from feeling elated. There he decided that he wouldn't worry about the numbers as much. Izuku relaxed on the sofa in the dorm's lounge as he watched several of his classmates and a couple of guests playing a racing video. It's been kinda quiet for a while, hasn't it? Kaminari, who was also seated on the sofa with Izuku, nodded as his character dashed over a bridge. Yeah, you think the author's been busy? Not quite. Ida strolled into the room carrying a stack of papers. From what his assistant has told me, he got too into something he found and hasn't had time to update between that and work. What was it? A small black cat in a flat cap was busy pounding away at his controller. Use action. How can this be so hard? It's not even on proud mode. Whatever it is, I'm sure that it is important. Now then, here is the latest batch of scripts. I'd like for you to look at them when you get the chance. As the class president placed the stack of paper onto the coffee table the two guests were leaning on, Izuku picked a few sheets up to take a look at them. What are these ones for? They're for the next batch of quirks for QFD. I'd suggest that you gird yourself, Midoriya. Why? Oh my god, why? Mineta peeked over the top of the sofa to take a look over Izuku's shoulder. It can't be that bad, you lucky son of a b-. Did you already show Momo the new script? Kaminari asked as he looked at the first skit on the page. Remember that sound of calm rage a few days ago? Mr. Craddock made sure to tell her ahead of time. Ah. Big deal. At least you guys are getting parts right now. The four students looked over to Shigaraki, who was focused on the TV, and passing Kaminari's character in the race. Meanwhile, I've been having to wait on but just for my first appearance in the guy's other work. Himiko turned around to address them. Sorry, he's just salty because he hasn't been featured at all. Shut up. Shigaraki turned and pointed at her, inadvertently causing his character to crash into a giant mushroom. You've had 2 appearances already in one work and you're recurring in the other. Before he could go any further, a cushion smacked into his face with a soft whump. Everyone turned to the chair beside the sofa where a grumpy May was slouching on. So you haven't made an appearance yet? Big whoop. Just be glad nothing happens to you. Nearly everyone was puzzled at that, so Izuku asked, What's wrong? Does something happen to you in Beach? May began fishing through her pockets as she replied. Ever since the boss began talking to that other author Zomnix, or whatever his name is, they started brainstorming for new plot and came up with this for me in our story. She tossed a folded-up sheet of paper onto the table for Izuku to look at. All he could say after reading what was written was a quiet, "Oh. I know, right?" May flung her hands up miserably. The worst part is that I can't even claim that it's not a viable possibility. I would totally do that, and that would be the most likely end result. Can't be that bad. Let me look. Snatching the paper from the protagonist while ignoring how Himiko, Kaminari, and Mineta began passing his character in the game, Shigaraki gave it a once-over before standing up, walking over to May and placing, most, of a comforting hand on her shoulder. You have my sincere condolences, he said in a solemn voice. May barked out a harsh laugh. That's if I'm lucky someone manages to kill me. And ignoring them, Kaminari said, ruining their moment. Are we going to do QFD or Beach first? Ida adjusted his glasses, turning away from May and Shigaraki. We'll be working on Black-Blooded Hero first, and if there aren't any other distractions then we'll be able to get it out this wee dash. He was interrupted by his phone going off in his pocket. What now? Quickly taking out his phone, he scanned over the new message before groaning in defeat. Unbelievable. What? Mr. Craddock's assistant has informed me that he has just purchased a new game. Ah geez, really? Not again. Come on. Everyone started grumbling and bemoaning miserably. Huzzah! Save for a certain inventor who threw her hands up with a cry of joy. She then paused when she noticed everyone glaring at her before crossing her arms with a petulant pout. I'm not apologizing. What game is it? Izuku was actually curious about the new purchase. I'm not sure. The message didn't say. View Takumi. Fu. Quirk. Kashik view. Upon contact with a target, person, allows the user and the target to glimpse into an alternative version of the target. Izuku reached under the couch in the dorm's lounge for a stray paper, a few hours left before his punishment was over. A few of his classmates/dorm mates were scattered around the room, either doing homework or goofing around. He sighed, glad that he was able to return to class tomorrow. He stood up at that moment, bumping into Jairu as she was passing behind him. Whoa! Careful now, Izuku. Sorry, Jiro dash. Both students suddenly froze as a vision played across their eyes. They saw a packed concert filled with kids around their age. On the stage they could see Jairu and Kaminari, along with a few other band members, finishing an amazing punk rock cover. They noticed that her ears had regular earlobes. As the song finished, Kaminari strode up to the mic. "Thank you everybody for being here. We were jamming away and we're gonna keep rocking out this whole week." While the crowd cheered, he took the time to move out his hands in a thumbs up, yelling, "We." This just caused everyone to laugh uncontrollably. The vision ended, and the two of them fell onto their rumps. Holy shit, what was that? By now the other students had run up and began asking what had happened. I don't know. We just touched and then I just saw some crazy dream. Soon, the others began touching Izuku. Wow, I won so many baking contests. Oh, so that's what mongoose would look like. Why am I bald? What the hell is going on here? Everyone turned and saw Bakugo enter the room, carrying a bag of recyclables. If you sheets aren't busy, then get out of the FING way. He then began shoving people out of the way, and soon he grabbed Izuku to push him out of the way. Both boys froze as a vision played for them, and after it was over they were both shaking and pale. Deku? Bakugo? You okay? Bakugo left the room without a word, stomping all the way up to his room while Izuku slumped further down to the floor. Hey, I know a way you can get a quirk. Deku. Hey, Izuku, what's wrong? Get him over to the couch. Go take a swan dive off the roof and pray that you get one in your next life. Izuku knew that everyone was worried about him, but right now he felt Kaken needed it more at the moment. What the Izuku? Quirk, sticky fingers. Allows the user's hand to stick to any surface. Exercise caution. Why can't you just keep your hands to yourself? Just help me get my hand off the table. Kaminari stood by Izuku's side as the young boy tried in vain to remove his very sticky hand from the lounge table. So far they had tried several solutions, up to and including a pulley system made out of tape and ice. It didn't work. Hey guys. I got something for you. Mineta came running up with Momo trailing behind, holding up a yellow spatula like it was a legendary item. We already tried a spatula. Didn't work too well. Kaminari pointed up at the previous spatula stuck in the ceiling. But this spatula is made out of the same stuff that my costume is made of. We even tested it out after Yamamo made it and my ball didn't stick to it. At this point I just want my hand back right now, so please just use it. Kaminari took the thing and carefully slid it under Izuku's palm, noting how it was actually separating it from the table. Hey, it's working. And then several things happened in rapid succession. Kaminari flipped the hand like a flapjack, said hand being flung behind Izuku as it turned him around, and his hand landing on Yaoyorozu's chest. Dash. At this point Izuku was resembling a steaming tomato. Midoriya, I understand that this was in no way your fault, but please remove your hand now. Unfortunately the poor boy began to faint. Wait. You're going to drag me down, Kaminari looked down at Mineta, who had fallen to his knees. What's with you? He's a god. What? Quirk, inanimate animation. Brings inanimate objects like toys and models to life. Mina was draped over one of the sofas when she felt a shudder erupt through the room. Then from the ceiling she heard multiple voices. There's no need to worry. Why? Suddenly the ceiling exploded downwards, sending debris crashing down on the coffee table and scaring Mina over the sofa. Peeking over the top of the seat she saw what seemed like Deku's entire All Might collection standing on the mound that covered the table. Said boy had just entered the room after his action figures in an All Might costume, and he didn't seem to be in control of it. Because we are here. Wait, let me out. I still have 2 more pages left for my assignment and dash. And then the entire collection jumped, rushing out the front door ready to save everyone in the surrounding city and the next. The costume was new. Quirk, love potion number 9. Causes 2 people to fall in love for a short time. Any 2 people. Deku, you need to fix this. Izuku, Kaminari and Mina were watching several of their classmates making out in couples around the room. They could see Mashireo and Toru on Aizawa's desk and Uraraka and Tsuyu over in the corner, for example. I have no idea how to stop this. Well, I guess we could just let it go on a little longer. Kaminari was watching Kyuka and Momo kissing as he said this. Mina turned around to berate him. Are you serious? We need to get everyone back to normal before dash. When she suddenly stopped and a slight nosebleed dripped down her chin, Kaminari looked in the direction she was looking and saw Katsuki and Todoriki begin to. Deku, make them stop. Make them stop now. No, we could just let this go on a little longer. Quirk, paint dive. Allows the user to jump into paintings and framed photos. Doesn't work with picture books or magazines. Katsuki grumbled as he stomped through the hallway, past the new painting that Yaoyorozu had put up. He didn't understand why it had to be a painting of ponies of all things. If it was a unicorn, then he could understand, those horns were badass as hell. Instead he had to look at pink little ponies every time he went back to his room. Kaken, thank God. You have to help me. Stopping, he slowly turned his head toward the painting to see Deku in the diamond thing being nuzzled by several small ponies. I've been stuck in here for hours and I can't get out. This one purple horse took my phone so I couldn't call anyone. I think if you break the frame then I can get out, so I need you to dash. Katsuki reached up with a marker and drew a curly mustache on Deku before leaving. Kaken, you a-hole. Quirk, omnilinguist. The user is able to understand every language and is capable of speaking them. Mina and Toru watched as Deku and that one girl from Class 1B, Pony Tsunatori, were talking together. So, can you understand a single thing they're saying? No, you know my English is. Quirk, Gokiburi. The user has cockroach characteristics, namely the wings, antennae, and that DMN ability to not FING die. Sitting at his desk, Izuku looked as everyone else had vacated to stand at the far end of the room, his wings buzzing in confusion. Why is everyone over there? And no reason. We just decided to stand over here. No one had it in them to say that it was because of him. Causes the user to become inconceivably adorable. The classroom door slammed open, surprising everyone, as Izuku rushed in. Guys. Everyone outside just kept falling down and dash. That was as far as he got as his classmates fell over clutching their chests, Katsuki barely managing to remain sitting upright. Aizawa, whose heart was cold and dead from the years, just told Hai to stay outside. I'm certain if he had that quirk during the USJ invasion, it would have been over in an instant. Quirk, Chubby Bunny. Causes target to become chubby with a touch. Watch out for chubby chasers. Izuku was bowing repeatedly. I am so sorry, Yaoyorozu. I didn't mean to do that. It's okay, Midoriya. I know that you didn't mean to make me look like this. Momo reassured the boy, looking much whiter than she was normally. A few of their classmates were lounging around the living room, chuckling a bit. I'll just go and use up the new fat, I suppose. Okay, sorry again. As Momo left for her room, Izuku breathed a sigh of relief, his hand on his chest. Later, Momo entered the room, once again skinny. Well, I just made enough wool jackets for everyone in the city. Now, didn't some of you need help on your asin? Oh my god. In the time that she was gone, it seemed that Izuku had managed to touch everyone. Now her classmates were in various states of chubby. Izuku himself, his face hiding behind his hands, resembled a red dumpling with how much steam was coming off of him. Why can't you just keep your hands to yourself? Quirk, catform. I'm sorry, what? Toshinori had to process the request that Mandalay, Shino Sosaki of the Pussycats hero team, had asked of him. She bowed again, asking once more. The Pussycats would like to include your student and protege Izuku Midoriya in our team. No, I heard you the first time. But why? Shino straightened back up, saying, it's more for a public image kind of thing. People were supportive of Yawara's transition, but they feel that our cute image is slightly missing. However, with how freaking adorable your student looks with cat features, we believe that our cute image would definitely return. No. What All Might didn't realize was that the other 3 members of the Pussycats had already taken Izuku and wouldn't find out until their next TV appearance the next day. Quirk, heart swap. Alright class. Today we will be going over team combinations involving your quirks in the field, so grab your gear and let's head on out to Replica District A. Plus Ultra. No one in the classroom moved as they tried to process Aizawa-sensei marching in and acting like All Might, who was currently resting in a yellow sleeping bag behind the teacher's podium. Midoriya, please never let this happen again. Quirk, Detachable. Mina and Toru watched as Izuku searched around the lounge, mumbling to himself. Whatcha looking for, Deku? Looking up, Izuku turned to them waving his left arm, which was missing its hand. I lost my hand and I can't really find it anywhere. Or feel it. Toru's gloved hand pointed toward the kitchen. We saw Bakugo heading in there with it, ready to throw it away. What? Kaken and O. Watching the boy dash into the other room, the two girls giggled as they resumed hiding the boy's hand under the couch. Quirk, fly wings. Ida sat at the table as Izuku and Azui, both redder than a tomato, sat across from him. So, are we going to speak about what happened at all? No. Really, because we need to make sure that this isn't Dash. No. Quirk, robot body. Power Loader was grumbling as he made his way back to the support workshop. Can't believe I forgot my keys in here, I need to make more pockets in my suit. Opening the door, he was treated to the sight of Mei holding that Midoriya kid's head, with the rest of his body on the table in pieces and wires. Hatsum. I can explain. Smet. Quirk, gender bender. Aizawa opened the door to the classroom, stopping when he saw that every single student save Midoriya was the opposite gender. Midoriya, go to the principal's office. Yes, sir. Quirk, Kashik view. Izuku found Katsuki on the roof, legs dangling off the side. For a split second, he thought that his friend would do something drastic, but immediately discarded that thought. That was something he knew that Katsuki would never do something like that. Sitting carefully next to him, Izuku tried to think about what to say when Katsuki started. Don't even start, Deku. I don't need to hear it. But Kaken Dash. Shut it. That weak sheet wasn't you. You are stronger than that. That was not you. That wasn't. They sat in silence for a few minutes before Katsuki asked, how the hell can you be so strong? Izuku couldn't answer that. He knew that it was a rhetorical question. Instead, he sat there with him for a bit. A silent vow to keep being strong. Quirk, intangibility. Ida had to take a deep breath. So far, they've had to deal with Izuku falling through floors, walls, through people and one incident with the girl's bath. Can anyone explain to me just how Midoriya managed to phase through the fourth wall? In front of him, dangling from thin air was Izuku's bottom half. A few of the girls had already taken pictures of it. Kaminari was the closest to the bottom. So do we try and grab it or just let him slide back out? Grab it. Ashido, no. Just then Izuku's legs began kicking out, unfortunately catching Kaminari in the face. What the? Just what is going on? On the other side of the fourth wall. Oh, come on, that hurts. Izuku found himself being pushed on by a young blonde woman wearing a white and blue robe. She began calling out to a black cat in a black flat cap that was busy playing a PS4 game. Mr. Craddock, please help me. I could use some assistance. No. Examine, you were 20 days old. You could have gone further. No. Mr. Craddock.